also be open for the student athletes that don't join us here in the main interview room. Tonight's attendance is on the box score 67,831. The all-tournament team is as follows: from Villinova, Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson and Eric Pascal, Mo Wagner from Michigan, and the most outstanding player, Dante DiVincenzo of Villanova. Coach Beeline and the student athletes from Michigan are on their way here to the main interview room. That means that the Michigan locker room is open for a period of at least 30 minutes. I have some here, but the committee that you're on, they have them. They'll be in the back. I think it originates from the duplication center in the back of the room. If you're a member of the local media committee and you're currently harboring a stack of box scores, please bring them up here into the main interview room and share them with the media. If you're holding a pile of box scores, that is the incorrect placement of those box scores. Looks like there's a new application for the box squares on their way right now. Once again, we remind everyone while joining us here in the main interview room, please refrain from any flash photography or video recording of any kind, including handheld cameras, mini cameras, and mobile phone cameras. You cannot go live or stream from your mobile device to any social media platform here in the main interview room. Satellite information is the same as it's been all week. Please see a representative of Hammond Communications if you need that information. And we will try to get through as many questions as possible. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone attendant in your direction. And then state your name and media outlet before you state your question for Coach Beeline or for the student athletes from Michigan. We're joined now by the Wolverines. We'll give Coach Beeline a chance to check out the box score. And when he's ready, he'll make an opening statement. Then we'll take questions for the student athletes only for the first portion. Coach, whenever you're ready.
No, just you could see why Villanova was the number one seed, why they were always in the top five all year long. When I looked at their scores in the NCAA tournament, there were not even any close ones. They were dominating everyone, and they after those first 15 minutes, they really were a better team than us. I'm so proud of our kids. We didn't play in some areas well, and we didn't make some shots that we usually make. But we got to put a lot of credit to Villanova and Jay Wright, his whole staff. In one day, they did a great job of getting ready for us, and we needed to play better. But even if we had played our best, it would have been very difficult to win that game with what DiVincenzo did. Was an incredible performance. So sometimes those individual performances just beat you, and you just say, okay, you take off your hat and say, good game. We played the best we could, and tonight you were better than us.
We'll take questions now for the student athletes from Michigan, for Muhammad or Mo. We have one on the left side of the room.
Mo, Chris Solari from the Detroit Free Press. In the first maybe 10 minutes of the game, you were in an offensive group. What things changed, and what did Villinova do differently defensively after that?
I mean, they just adjusted, I think. I came out very aggressive, tried to do my job, and yeah, things went well, and I think we didn't execute well offensively today. So, yeah.
Continuing with questions for Muhammad Ali or Mo at this time. If you have a question for the student athletes, please raise your hand. On the right, toward the back, CL.
CL Brown with the Field House. Mo, this is for you over here. I was curious, how was the technical foul explained to you when you picked that up? What did they say happened?
It wasn't, but I wasn't worrying about it. I just moved on to the next play. Stuff happens.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes, if there are any. If you have a question, raise your hand. To the center of the room, we're going to use the front right-hand microphone for Zach.
Zach was the New York Post. Mo, you said they adjusted. How did they adjust? What did they do differently with you? Because it seemed like you were getting to the rim pretty easily on drives.
I mean, I have to watch the game, but yeah, they obviously played the drive better. I guess I wasn't as aggressive anymore. Turned it over a couple of times. Yeah, just went that way. You got to give them a lot of credit. They're a really good team defensively. Yeah, if they play like that, it's really hard to beat them.
Continuing with questions for Mo or Muhammad Ali, front left.
Terry Hutchins, CNHI Sports Indiana. Muhammad, what did DiVincenzo do so well tonight that made him so difficult to stop?
He was making a lot of threes. Anytime you get in a rhythm like that, you can pull up from anywhere and just knocking them down. It's tough to stop. You're always on your heels defensively because you never know what he's going to do. Either pull up and shoot the three or drive to the basket. So it's tough when you see shots going like that from him.
The next question's in the back of the room on the right side. Please raise your hand.
For both guys, could you describe what was Coach's message after the game and set that scene?
Let's ask Mo to take that first and then Muhammad Ali.
As coach always is, very positive. I mean, even though we lost today to a really good team and everyone is very disappointed, I think this team has proven a lot of people wrong, has developed over the course of the year and achieved a lot this year. I mean, if anybody would have told us in the preseason that we were about to make the national championship game, yeah, I mean, we worked hard and we were very connected up there.
Muhammad Ali, same question.
It's more than basketball. It's a brotherhood. We're a family, and I mean, tonight was rough. But we'll always remember this run, this team. We're 33-8, and nobody expected us to be here. And I mean, we're just always going to remember each other and being a part of this team.
We have a few more minutes for questions for the student athletes. Let's go back to the left.
Muhammad, Chris Solari, Detroit Free Press. You guys came out and took a 7-point lead. I guess walk us through those first few minutes of what was going right, and then what was there one point where it felt like the momentum shifted the other way?
Muhammad, you want to take that first?
Yeah. I think we just came out with a lot of energy. It's the national championship game. You want to come out and play well. And I think we just had a lot of energy from the beginning, and they just made some adjustments. I can't pinpoint any moment where the kind of turning point turned. And, I mean, it just went the way we did.
Mo, did you have anything to add to that?
I mean, yeah, we made shots. They didn't in the beginning. We guarded them really well, and then we got sloppy in some things, and they made plays. And yeah, they're a really good team.
We have time for one or maybe two more questions for the student athletes, if there are some. Let's go back to the center of the room. We're going to get that front right microphone to you. Zach, right in the middle.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. For either of the players, you guys talked about what a great run it was from early February to now. What do you think you're going to remember most? Will it be Jordan's shot? Will it be Saturday night? What do you think is going to kind of be the ultimate memory that always sticks with you?
We'll ask both players to take this, and this will likely be the last one. Mo first, and then Muhammad Ali, please.
I mean, that's pretty simple. I mean, the relationships I've made in that locker room with anyone. people make the mistake to forget about the people that are not on the floor, coaching staff, managers, the little stuff. I mean, the relationships in that locker room are incredible, and I will always carry that with me.
Muhammad Ali.
I'd probably say the same. The relationships, just the daily small conversations that you have when you come to the gym before practice, being able to talk to everybody within the staff, your teammates, and just anybody in the building really is special to have, and just the relationships really.
We'd like to thank Mo Wagner and Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman for joining us here in the main interview room this evening and all week long. Congratulations on a great run to the championship game, fellas. The Michigan student athletes will head back to the locker room, which is still open. They'll join their teammates for some more availability in that locker room. Right now, we'll take the first question for Coach Beeline in the back on the right, CL.
John, CL Brown with the Fieldhouse. From your perspective, what did you see that Villanova did different defensively to kind of slow down how he started off fast?
Yeah, they were switching every screen. Everything that we did for a good part of the game, and they changed just enough to confuse us a little bit. The shot clock got to us a couple of times, and they just got really good individual. They forced us into a one-on-one game. They wouldn't let us run any of our stuff, and when we did, a couple of times we got a back door and we threw it away. We had another slip pass that we got when we got open shots, we didn't make them, or we had open plays, we didn't get it done. But they have a better individual defensive team than we have an individual offensive team, and that's something we got to continue to grow in.
Coach, all the way to the left and all the way up front.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. Coach, you had said something on Sunday about Villanova's advantage being sort of their continuity and the ability to redshirt guys. You look at a guy like DiVincenzo, sophomore redshirt. Yeah. Has Jay sort of found the sweet spot in today's college basketball? He has guys that are going to play in the league, but they're sticking around for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I think that sometimes we've been able to get in that situation, like with Muhammad Ali. That it was just like, but he was so underrated. Jay's been able to do it with really highly rated guys, and that's something that I think it's every coach's dream. And there's a bunch of red shirts out there, and they saw a championship team 2 years ago. They said, let's just work and get better. So many young men are in a hurry to get out of the best years of their life, and I think that he recruits us at escape from the best years of life. That doesn't make sense sometimes. And Villanova has done a great job of getting the right kid who probably values that, and we try to as well. I mean, we really have done a good job, I think, doing that. But every situation is unique. We've had some guys go pro that I think, yes, you should go because this is a great thing for you right now. But others have stayed around, and the ones that stay around usually are very happy they stayed around.
Coach, we're going to go to the right side up front. Dan.
Yeah, hey, John, Dan Wolkin, USA Today. Villanova did not lose this year when they had their full roster. They won 10 in a row by double digits. Mm-hmm. Do you have the feeling tonight you might have lost to an all-time great type of team?
Yeah, when you look at the whole package that they have with between experiences is rare in college basketball. Shooters at every position, passers at every position, and defenders. I mean, we were trying to find, who's the weak guy we can pick on? And there's a couple guys that aren't as strong as others, but it is a tremendous basketball team. That team right there could play it could win a lot of Final Fours, not just the 2018 one.
To the left side of the room.
Chris Solari, Detroit Free Press. John, that midpoint of the first half when you guys went up 7 and then it switched, what did you sense happened there?
DiVincenzo, when he came off, hit those threes, and then we could not answer. We had a couple really good looks during that time. I mean, Mo threw an air ball from the corner. There was another one. I mean, things that were really plays we missed. Charles missed 2 foul shots. It was just things that we just stick in there and make it be like tied at half or something, because it's really hard for us to be a get-back type of team. Get down by 12 or 13, and all of a sudden you're going to roar back. And so that was a big thing. He made some really tough shots. We missed some probably better looks, but he made them and we missed them, and that's how this game goes sometimes, and you really can't control it.
To the center of the room, Zach.
Zach was in your post, John. Sorry to bring up bad memories, but I mean, 5 years ago, you got burned by a sixth man from a Big East team, and it kind of happened again today. Yeah. I mean, any flashbacks or any kind of similarities?
Thanks for reminding me about that. Thanks for reminding me about it. But you coach all year long, and just sometimes the other team's better than you on that night, and we had lucky times that we were 33 times better. This was one of those things we were just not better than them tonight. And probably on most nights we would be better, but we were telling our kids that we just got to beat them one time. We don't have to win a 7-game series here. We just got to beat them one time. And that could have happened. But it did not happen today.
Up front to the left.
Ryan Schuling, the Team 92.1 FM in Lansing. Coach DiVincenzo, a guy that you game plan for coming off the bench. You try everything against him, adjustments at halftime. Yeah. You see Simpson shutting down Brunson. Yeah. Is there anything looking back you could have done differently against him?
I got to watch the video, but I mean, what they do with a lot is they slip the ball screens. So when you're slipping a ball screen, the big men, it's a timing thing where he's got to be up and jam them and get back. And sometimes we went back with a one-day prep on this. Like yesterday, we could not go out and just go out and practice as fast as we could against a guy who can shoot a dribble three and pass to a slipping guy. And so I wish we would have maybe gone out and doubled him or something. But I'll have to watch the video. But he still made some really long shots that I don't think there's a defense for.
Continuing with questions for Coach Beilein, we'll go back to Zach in the middle.
Coach Zach was in your post. When you look back at Mo's first, he had 11 points in the first 9 minutes, and I think he hit his first 4 shots, and he was the best player on the floor. Yeah. Do you think it was more what they did, or was it maybe he just...
Well, I think we tried to run more action. We tried to run more action at them, and they blew it up. They blew up a lot of our action, and I think that was something that we expected, but we didn't react well on it. We would try to get into some action that was going to go back to Mo, and we couldn't get into it. And with us, it's usually 2 or 3 passes to get into some things, and we just didn't react. We did a couple strange things, and all of a sudden the shot clock's there, and that's not a strength for us, especially against good individual defenders. So I wish we could have been better at getting into some of that action, but they made it like they wouldn't let us get it.
Did you want to follow?
Go ahead, yeah.
Sorry, Mark. So do you kind of credit them more for what they did to him?
Well, this is the way they play every day. This is what they do, and and when they're experienced at this, like they are, they probably wouldn't have done that 2 years ago with some of the things that they did, but they did it now. Those kids were watching Chris Jenkins and these guys play, and now they're older and they know how to change a game plan in the middle or put a game plan. But we got, I think the first half also, not having Duncan Robinson and Muhammad Ali in there for most of that half, or much of that half, was a killer for us. Really, Isaiah Livers is going to be a really good player, but for having him out 17 and Duncan for 3 was not good for us. Muhammad Ali sitting out was not good for us.
Toward the back of the room to the left.
Coach, John Whistler, San Antonio Express News. You may have already covered this. I was working, but you came out very aggressively, especially Mo.
Yep.
Really took it to him early.
Yep.
Do you think DiVincenzo changed the tide?
He definitely did. And I thought we took a step back. When he made those shots, it was like, whoa, And I didn't think we had the same fire on defense. We came out really scrappy on defense. And when he made a couple, it was like, wow, this is going to be really difficult. And but I said we missed some open shots. And Duncan not only can make shots, Duncan makes all our stuff go smoother. And that really hurt us. We were really out of rhythm in the first half. And, of course, the basket's away from the coach. And, you can't talk them through that. I don't know what the difference was. Well, we only scored 6 more points when they're in front of us. But it was we just got out of rhythm, and they got into rhythm. I thought the end of the first half, those last 2 minutes, when Brunson hit the deep 3 that we backed up on and we shouldn't have, and DiVincenzo hit one really deep, all of a sudden it became 9. That was a big difference.
We have time for 1 or possibly 2 more questions for Coach Beilein, if there are any. If you have a question for Coach, raise your hand. There's another one on the left side. Let's use that back left microphone for this.
John, with that Villanova team, they've got depth in scoring in so many different ways. Does it have to? Is it kind of a pick your poison at some point with them? I mean, if you would have been told that you shut down Brunson the way you did and some of those other guys, you would.
I think what the other thing that nobody has mentioned right here is that they're averaging 8 offensive rebounds a game. We're like the worst offensive rebounding team in the country. It's not necessarily, it's not by design, but it's sort of, it's okay because we're good in deep transition. They're averaging 8, and they got 11, and they're sneaky at getting those second opportunities a little bit longer, a little quicker off their feet. It said they made some really tough shots. And they're a tough team to stop once they get in the double bonus. That was a big thing, they're getting in the bonus in the first half as well. But I don't know if I answered the question. I just thought of the offensive rebounding, which was a killer tonight. And we have played 42 games. Not once have I mentioned the words, boy, offensive rebound killed us. Not one time. And we played some big guys. Today, they were better than us at getting to the missed shot.
Coach, we'll take our final question up front to the left.
Once again, Ryan Schuling, the Team 92.1 FM in Lansing. Coach, now that it's over, and you look back immediately, the snapshot of this team, how would you summarize it? How would you define it? What is this team's legacy?
We had this ability, we had talent for being really young, right? We only had one third-year player and 2 fourth-year players. Everybody will remember about this team. That's a very sad locker room right now. Not because we lost the game, because they know something special just ended.
We want to thank Coach Beilein for joining us here in the main interview room. Congrats, Coach. Big Ten tournament title.
Thank
run
you.
to the
Thank you
championship
very much.
here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Always good to see you. I always wanted to be a waiter. When I grew up, my father was a pharmacist, so I We lost Jalen Brunson's original name placard in a terrible, tragic name placard incident. I don't wish to provide any details at this time. But we have one. Is it legible? Just a reminder that the Villanova locker room will be open for student-athlete availability. Athletes Dante DiVincenzo, your most outstanding player of the Final Four, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson both named to the all-tournament team. And once again, the most outstanding player, Dante DiVincenzo. What's that? Yeah, there's no A's.